The rest of the wide receiver group is underwhelming. Kincaid's had some moments. They need a playmaker in the worst way this offseason. I know they keep trying to get it done or pick these guys off. Maybe Keon Coleman will be that guy. Maybe Josh Palmer will be that guy. It's not working. They haven't replaced Stephon Diggs, and it shows. And I think Josh Allen could use some help. So Buffalo Bills in the offseason, free agency, NFL draft, get yourself a big playmaker.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Notre Dame playing very well, in a position to crack the top 12. Now they have to take care of business.
Here's what I want from and again, we're going to go over who we think is actually going to make the playoffs here a little bit later in the show. But understand this, Joe. I don't want any ACC in there. I don't want any Big 12 in there. Just give me the Big 10 and the SEC. And Mike, quite frankly, if you just gave me Ohio State, Indiana, and the rest of the SEC, boom, boom.
Nah.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Let me ask you this. If they brought in Belichick, you don't think that... Yeah.
Oh, of North Carolina?
Yeah, they're playing much better now.
I wouldn't let him coach my kids. I don't even have them.
I tell you what, they would be more disciplined than what they are now.
No, they wouldn't. They'd be lifeless.
Yes, they would.
They'd be lifeless.
Yes, Brian Dable is a gutless head coach.
Bill Belichick came off a bye against
Gutless
Clemson.
head coach.
3 plays in, they gave him 150 yards.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
But here we go. This is like, Pet Sematary. You guys don't remember this movie from the 1980s. But look, goodbye Tom Brady, I guess, wants to keep the generation alive. Couldn't he just have had this dog breed and just take the puppy of some kind? I don't know. But hey, Tom Brady does different things. Maybe this is just a signal for cloning in the future for humans. I'm not really sure here.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Basking in the glory of an Eagles victory last night. Voice is a little bit weak. Sleep is a little bit tough, but you can make it through the day. You can keep energized because it would have been awful if Nick Sirianni last night calls that play to go for it on 4th down. It turns into a Packers field goal. They go into overtime and lose that game, but they didn't, and we'll get that in just a few moments here. But it is hour number 2. The energy is extremely high right now, getting you ready for a massive game tonight, and also a massive game, I should say. And bye at the end of the hour, fresh off a 2-0 sweep to start that week. We look to go 2-0 again, Joe. The vibes are high, the feelings are good, and the pockets are full.
Love it, Donnie. Looking forward to a little action tonight. We've got, you had mentioned, rivalry night here in college basketball. Some great historic rivalries going on. NBA action. Doesn't get any better with your Sixers taking on the Celtics, does it? So great night ahead for us.
Oh, we love sports. We love sports in the fall heading into winter. It's so much fun to take a look at, but sometimes not so much for people losing their jobs. Here's the early lineup, and we start with Brian Dable for the New York Giants. He's out of a job, and rightfully so. It just wasn't working. Now your young quarterback here, as Joe said earlier in the hour number 1, you're running him into a brick wall left to right as if he's a fullback or a tailback. He gets the concussion. Who knows how long he's out? But the one thing we do know, the Giants, they're out on Brian Dable.
Yeah, and really, unfortunately, he left them no choice. I give the Mara family credit. They did not want to fire him, Donnie, but when you lose 4 games where you had the lead heading into the 4th quarter and had a better than 90% chance of winning the games, and you didn't win one of them, and you just got the franchise quarterback, future quarterback there, concussed for what, a third? Yeah, it's, unfortunately, he didn't do himself any favors here.
Now, you know what we need to see? Russ with that big smile this week saying, let's ride or let's giant or let's be big, whatever he wants to say at this point now, because this is Russell's team for the foreseeable future. You are not rushing back your franchise quarterback from a concussion just to play late in the season. This could be multi-weeks here, and rightfully so. And even, Joe, I don't even care if they get medical clearance. Keep him out an extra week. Preserve your franchise quarterback here. When you talk about preserving your franchise quarterback, we talk about guys like Joe Burrow, constantly injured here, but he wants to make a comeback, and hopefully by Thanksgiving. And as Ricky Waters once said in Philadelphia after not reaching out to catch a pass with alligator arms, for who, for what? We got a quarterback that's rolling. It just ain't your year, Cincinnati. It's the way it is.
No, I don't know what the point is. It's not like Joe Flacco wasn't dropping 40 points with this offense, Donnie, and they still couldn't win games. I don't know what Joe Burrow is going to do more than that. I mean, we're going to have to score 50 points, but then the defense will give up 50 more points. So it's just, to me, it's a lose-lose situation here. You couldn't wait to get rid of Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator. You scapegoated him, and congratulations, Al Golden, doing a wonderful job with that defense in Cincinnati, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, big. Yeah, it was the defensive coordinator that was the issue, not the players that absolutely stink. So Lou Anarumo was gone. He's on one of the better teams in the NFL, and Cincinnati might be one of the worst defenses we've ever seen. Case in point, oh well. And way to hold on to Trey Hendrickson down the stretch and lose him for nothing at the end of the year. That's the Bengals, people, fighting, I guess, the Giants right now to be one of the worst franchises in football. Last night on the gridiron, the Philadelphia Eagles went into Green Bay and won that game 10-7. And now we're seeing stuff here. Remember the 4th-and-1 call late, Joe, where the Philadelphia Eagles, like, wow, they really jumped that snap, pinned Jacobs in the backfield. He fumbles the football, and the Eagles take over. Well, last night, Josh Jacobs said he heard the Philadelphia Eagles defense call exactly the play they were running on 4th down, and quote-unquote says, as a runner, it don't ever feel good. It changed my mind on how I was going to run the ball, if I'm being honest. Eagles get the stop, Eagles get the victory, but also the Philadelphia Eagles made this game tighter than it needed to be at the end, up 10-0, playing prevent defense, not punting the football. But the Eagles do get the win, 7-2 now, tops in the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, not a great offensive effort by Green Bay. Give the Eagles defense credit, but my goodness, I mean, at what point does Matt LaFleur, when does that seat start to get a little bit hot? Or are you just giving him a free pass here? Because all year long, we've been scratching outside of that first game against Detroit. Donnie, it's been head scratching with this offense here of the Green Bay Packers.
I got to tell you, Joe, like looking at Matt LaFleur, like sometimes you can get mulligans, but you know where you don't get a mulligan? Losing his 2 touchdown favorites the week before and not playing any offense against Carolina. Then you come and look just as inefficient on offense in the next week. Because we know you can't bring your A game each and every week. Case in point, the Buffalo Bills this Sunday. Beat the Chiefs the week before, got rolled by the Dolphins. It happens. It's the NFL on a week-to-week. But you can't be home and stink against a stink team and then be home and stink against a good team in primetime football. That's an issue right now. Oh, but they didn't have, Romeo Dobbs. Stop the madness right now. You got to be able to look better than having getting shut out at home in the first half and barely scoring in the week before as it was here. How about Major League Baseball, Joe? Gambling scandals? Hey, actually doing something right. You don't have to remove every prop bet here, but put limitations on some of those that can be abused. A $200 betting limit on first pitches, calling balls or strikes, which I agree with. Outside, and put it this way, one of the worst bets you can possibly make, Joe, is I'm going to bet on how fast the pitcher's going to throw his fast pitch. It's a coin flip unless you have insider information. $200 makes sense. If you want to bet it for fun, you can still do that. But if baseball players are throwing away their careers, Joe, over a $200 wager, then they shouldn't be in Major League Baseball as is.
See, but Donnie, I would make the argument that don't change a damn thing. You're not dealing with a bunch of Mensa students here, okay, that have figured out how to No, they're idiots. And the people involved in these will always show their hands because they think that people are going to drop 10 grand on whether it's the next pitch is a ball or strike. They're easy enough to catch, Donnie. I say leave it. It is the best preventative thing that you could have there.
It does bring a good point also. It's like, let's just get the stupid people out of the sport right away that are willing to throw this away. Because you're so right. Like I try to explain to people, you're betting $10, $20, $10, $5,000. You're flagged immediately. Everybody knows what you're trying to do, especially if that bet wins.
Exactly.
It's the way it is here in the new atmosphere of legalized sports gambling. Brian Kelly, maybe he has some extra money to put $200 down on some pitching matchups here. Why? Because he's going to get $50+ million. And shame on LSU. You made a bad choice to hire him as a head coach. But when you fire him, you owe him that money. Trying to find ways to fire him with cause and hoping that he would just accept a lower buyout, nobody would.
Yeah. What did you think? Like, especially him, the fiery Brian Kelly here. You think, trying to get him to take a smaller buyout? Yeah, I don't think so here, guys. That's not how it works. And by the way, it's not just all his money, Donnie. You think his attorney agents are going to allow you to buy him out at a smaller price? Not going to happen.
Or how about the rest of the coaches? Like, hey, what precedent are you setting? We're getting fired and expected to take a buyout that's not our actual payout. It's like, hey, your contract says you're going to make $200,000 a year. You're fired. You should get it all. And they go, we accept 75 grand. No, nobody's going to do that. And you're right. When you're embarrassed and you're fired, because trust me right now, Brian Kelly didn't go to the administration, Joe, and say, you know what, this isn't working out. Can we just get away and I can have all my money? No, Brian Kelly's like, I want to coach this team. Like, you're not coaching this team. All right, fire me. There, you're fired. Good, give me my money. That's an issue right now. Maybe would you take half of the money that we owe you? No, he's taking it all. That's the way it is. Kyle Hendricks, Major League Baseball. He's retiring after a lengthy career. It seemed like he was one of those rubber arm guys, Joe, that could continuously pitch for at least another 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he wasn't going to be blowing guys, away, but he was steady Eddie. And, it's when you need a guy to chew up some innings there. And he was good. But it feels like he's been around for forever, though, Donnie. It feels like he's been around much longer than that.
How about Tatsuya Ime coming to Major League Baseball as a Japanese pitcher? 27 years old, 1.92 ERA. Boy, he's going to look good in Dodgers blue and red out there on the West Coast, isn't he?
Yeah, so this is now the bidding opens, right? So teams have to put up a absurd amount of money just to be able to bid on his services here.
Stupid.
So, yeah, welcome to the Dodgers. I'm sure you can get his jersey online right now, Donnie.
Posting. And isn't there also a Japanese third baseman that's young and hits home runs? He would look great with the Dodgers as well, right? Yeah, Dodgers baseball. Get ready for it next in 2026. We keep rolling along on the early line.
We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF.
Is that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF.
So he's got
now.
an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72 to
Keep
nothing.
that dude away from polite society.
Okay, brother, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Numerous pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Come on now, step up. It's college football. And by the way, Joe, sometimes you pour a little bit out for the homies, right? You shed a tear or two. Week 12 of the college football season. And by the way, it's really week 13 because we get a week 0 in there. So 0 to 12, boy, time flies. But also understand this. I keep bringing this up every week. We're November 11th, Joe. We have the rest of November, the rest of December, and damn near the rest of January with college football. This is a long season.
It's crazy. I mean, by the time we get to Friday night, Donnie, there is less than a month left in the college football regular season. And by the way, because I think the Army-Navy game is December 13th. So we're almost at that point where it's going to be all about the postseason soon.
It is going to be all about the postseason, which we're going to love with the top 12. But before we get there, Joe, let's take a look at some of the favorites here in the race to win the national championship. It's no surprise. It's Ohio State by a long and wide margin here, a plus 195. Indiana at a plus 550 price. A&M at 7-1. Alabama 9-1. And there's Notre Dame sitting at 10-1. Now, we see the two teams at the top of the standings here, Joe, in the odds market, both from the Big Ten. I love Indiana, but Indiana pulling one out at Penn State, does that fracture you a little bit? Or it's like, no, tough place to play, still got talent on Penn State, just give them credit for the win? Or does that sort of put a little bit of a damper saying, ooh, I don't know if they can battle Ohio State when they're going to meet?
None of it matters, honey. Nobody's going to remember that you squeaked one out in Happy Valley against Penn State, who you hadn't beaten in Lord knows how long. But yeah, it's only going to matter on what comes down to it when it matters the most, which will be eventually Ohio State and in a postseason. So we saw them do this last year. They made it and then didn't work out all that well. They got the snot beat out of them in that last game against Ohio State, and then they got trucked in the postseason. So let's see if things are truly different for Cignetti in Indiana this year.
See, he makes me laugh. Like even that pre-kickoff interview where they get you before like the kickoff there. Hey, Cignetti, you guys never win at Indiana. He's like, these guys never played here at Penn State. Like, well, are you worried about anything? There's no time to worry. Like we're about to kick off here. Like I hated the guy last year. I absolutely love him this year as it stands at this point. But if you are looking at those standings, they're going to change. Some of these things are going to happen. Let me ask you a quick question when we're looking about futures here. Because Ohio State, Indiana, there's a legitimate chance, Joe, they're going to play twice before you get to a championship, once in the Big Ten final and maybe once in the playoffs here. How do you view that matchup where it's odd? Because in the past, it was like, okay, you're going to get to this game, you're both undefeated, somebody's going to lose and be out. The fact of the matter is that you're in that, yes, you want to win and get the higher seed, but it's kind of funny that they could play twice.
Listen, any given Saturday, right? It really does. Anytime, anything is possible here. And it always comes down to the same thing. It's rinse and repeat here, Donnie, right? So Ohio State, the big game for them, forget Indiana. They're not even thinking about Indiana right now. Brian Day's got to get past Michigan. That's the first obstacle here. And then Indiana, okay, so usually this always comes down to, is Ryan Day going to lose to Michigan again? And then the whole world will be collapsing with Ohio State fans, and then he'll come back and beat the snot out of Indiana, and all will be right in the world here. I'm not stepping in front of this train with Ohio State because we've seen this train before, Donnie, and everything that's being reported right now is that apparently Ohio State's hasn't even opened up the playbook yet. They haven't even really, they're still in second gear. Apparently there's a third and fourth gear on this offense that apparently Ryan Day is telling everyone, we're going to start to ramp it up a little bit here over the next couple of weeks. So who are we to argue? They are the national champions after all.
And by the way, take a look at the Heisman Trophy market, sort of that, correlation to the national championship market. Who's number one? It's Ohio State. Oh, look at that. Who's number one in the Heisman race in the odds market? Plus 160, Julian Sayin. How about number two? Fernando Mendoza. Number two in the country, Indiana, plus 170 price. Then you get the Simpson, Reed, Pavia, and Smith after that. If I had to give you a player right now to win the Heisman, is it going to be Julian Sayin, or does he get snubbed for one of those, oh, man, Indiana's never here. Indiana's unbeaten at this point. Fernando Mendoza has been great. Let's just give him the Heisman. If you had to choose right now, who are you giving your Heisman to based on how the season's going to play out, Sayin or Mendoza?
Well, I'll tell you right now, Mendoza showed me a little something there in that game. Back against the wall, he was awful in the third and fourth quarter in the second half there in one of the toughest places to play in Happy Valley. But when the game was on the line in the biggest moment, Donnie, Mendoza showed up and showed out and made the plays to get the win. That's the mark of a Heisman player. I have not yet seen that because Julian Sayin hasn't been pushed just yet here, Don. It's not like they've had to pull a game out of out of nowhere and come from behind like Mendoza did. So I think that I think time will tell, but that was definitely a check in the Mendoza box for me doing what he did at Penn State.
Does it feel like, too, because understand this, like I'm just looking at the Heisman race as it is. Monday, December 1st, the Heisman ballots go out and be distributed. And correct me if I'm wrong, the Big Ten championship game would not have been played yet. Monday, December 8th, like I don't have this in front of me. Is the Big Ten championship, is that, I would assume, December 6th? Does anybody have that behind the scenes here? Because I'm just trying to get a feel. They don't play the Big Ten championship perfect, so good. You're actually going to get the winner of that football game is going to decide who wins the Heisman Trophy and who rides into what, I guess, number one overall is the seed, Joe.
That's correct. Yeah. And listen, if I'm Julian saying I need some competition. I need some games here that I can shine in against, some top competition here, Donnie, because that's what's going to matter most. Don't forget, Indiana. Yeah. Back against the wall, got it done. And Mendoza, let's see what Julian Saying can do here.
By the way, too, and I just read that, like Monday, December 1st, the Heisman ballots are distributed. Let me tell you something. If anybody votes on the Heisman before that game is played that weekend, which they will, strip them of their vote. Like, oh, well, I'm just old school. And I just think it's postseason already and it's a regular. Stop the madness. I don't want to see a single person vote like, well, Saying won it but lost the game. Why? Because 35 people voted for Saying before the game started because they just got lazy or forgot what they were doing. Don't make that mistake, people. By the way, quickly, Joe, Kent State Akron tonight. How we feeling? How we feeling on that one?
I'm feeling sick that I'm going to have to watch this game, Donnie, but I will. Yes, I will do it. I will do it for the team.
Kalshi markets don't make you sick here. Let's see what Kalshi is up to this morning right here on the early line next.
We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly, Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF
is
now.
that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF now.
So he's got an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72-0.
Keep that dude away from polite society.
Okay, brother, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Numerous pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Kalshi Markets on a Tuesday, right here on the early line. We love to talk about it. Sonny right side, it's Joe Ranieri to SportsGrid Network, setting the table for the rest of your SportsGrid day. And sometimes people open up that paper and say, you know what, where's the stock market going today? Higher or lower? Same thing with Kalshi here. Higher or lower, odds changing on a day-to-day basis here. The question that we're asking the public here, Pro football, who's going to be the MVP winner this year? Matthew Stafford is the favorite right now, followed by Drake May, Jonathan Taylor, and Patrick Mahomes. Do you agree, Joe, right now with Kalshi, that Matthew Stafford should be the leader in the clubhouse in the odds market?
I mean, what? Yeah. I mean, let's face it. I mean, look at what he is doing here. Don't forget, Donnie, when the season started, we were here talking about, well, he's one hit away. I don't know, that back. Will he be good? Will he what?
That's true.
No. I mean, the guy's got a Super Bowl. The guy is leading, a young Rams team. Think about it. From when he won the Super Bowl with the Rams to every Aaron Donald retires. Well, that's the end of it for the Rams. Maybe McVay retires, and Stafford is still doing it, and he's doing it better than he's done it in a very, very long time. So there's nothing that I can say that Stafford should not be the favorite. I'm hoping Drake May gets more love so I can come back and hammer the no there, Donnie, because that to me is not going to happen in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's the one that's interesting here because, it's usually the same, or should I say the usual suspects that show up. Beginning of the season, end of the season, the superstar quarterbacks, they'll always be there at the end, barring injury here. But Drake May does appear up there, and he's listed right now second in the odds market here, according to Kalshi. I don't know if he can win it because sometimes it's too much too soon at that point, and like the edge goes, or maybe they falter down the stretch. But look, they win out the rest of the way, which again, they keep winning football games, and maybe it's a possibility. Probably not going to happen. There's a chance there. Let me ask you this question, though, because typically we're talking about Matthew Stafford and Drake May. What are they, Joe? They're quarterbacks. The running backs always get left out. Saquon went ballistic last year, didn't win the MVP. But Jonathan Taylor, for what he's doing this season, on that Saquon march of, I am the end-all, be-all of this offense. We're an engine because I'm running the show at this point. He has been sensational. Is there a chance that we can get a running back, a la Jonathan Taylor, to win the MVP this year?
You'd be hard-pressed. I mean, he's got my vote. Whether or not the voters will actually do it, because they just enamored, obviously, it's a quarterback award.
Yeah.
But if there was, the argument could be made, well, what more did Saquon have to do last year in order to be considered getting the award? And yet Josh Allen got it. So, yeah, it's definitely a quarterback award. But what they're doing at Indy and what Jonathan Taylor is doing is pretty impressive stuff here.
Yeah, bet $100 here on Kalshi, and if Jonathan Taylor wins that award right now, that payout will be $625. Impressive there. If we go down the list a little bit, like some of the interesting ones, like Josh Allen, obviously dropped back because they lost to the Miami Dolphins. Sam Darnold's been nothing short of spectacular. They got a monster game this weekend. So when we talk about, Joe, like buying low and selling high, Sam Darnold rolls into that game against the Rams and beats the Rams. Stafford comes down and Darnold goes higher.
I don't think that's going to happen, though. I mean, Stafford is 21 touchdown passes, more than he threw in 2024. He's averaging 270 yards a game. And by the way, just 2 interceptions on 274 attempts. Meanwhile, I love Sam Darnold. It's a great story, right? Wish he was still a New York Jet, but he got Adam Gase, and that was the end of that. But I've seen him turn the ball over 2 times a game here, Donnie. And what Stafford is doing at 37 years old is absurd. I don't think that changes against Seattle's defense.
A little bit more of a favorite here, Joe, as we talk about the Heisman Trophy market on Kalshi. We had a slight favorite here, Julian saying to Fernando Mendoza, but a little bit more of a wide gap. We have 40% chance here on Sayin, 35% chance on Mendoza here in the marketplace. Sayin taking the leader as Mendoza was the favorite for a bit, but just watching like the stock trading arc here, Sayin now up at 40%. Do we agree once again that, or would you rather take somebody lower on the charts if Sayin can slip up? I just don't see them slipping up. I just don't. Like, it seems like it's probably going to be him.
And I think both those numbers, Donnie, are going to continue to rise. So bet them both in the yes right now, and then cash out with one of them and keep the other one who you think is going to go. It's a money maker. That's the beauty about Kalshi, Donnie, is that I don't have to wait for the outcome. I can make money along the way.
NFC Championship winner, Philadelphia Eagles, the favorite at 21%, which means if you put a $100 wager down, Joe, pays back $477 on those birds.
Just give me the no on Detroit. Yeah, no, Detroit's not winning. No. not.
How about that?
No.
Detroit coming to Philadelphia next week. And by the way, Sunday night game, Joe, I'm going to be tired again next Monday, staying up late watching my Birds take on the Lions. Let's get to more markets next.
Notre Dame playing very well, in a position to crack the top 12. Now they have to take care of business.
Here's what I want from and again, we're going to go over who we think is actually going to make the playoffs here a little bit later in the show. But understand this, Joe. I don't want any ACC in there. I don't want any Big 12 in there. Just give me the Big 10 and the SEC. And Mike, quite frankly, if you just gave me Ohio State, Indiana, and the rest of the SEC, boom, boom.
Nah.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
It is a sickness in this league. They stink, and they should stink next year. That's it.
But the expectation is to be a 9-8 football team.
So let's shake it. Why is that the expectation? They're garbage. And traded away two of the few good guys they have.
But they're going to get how many draft picks in the first round? 3 next year?
Two.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Brissett has been that good. So this is a quarterback that I think is worth acquiring, but especially in Superflex leagues. If somebody's already got QBs passed by and Brissett's just collecting dust on somebody's bench, go out there, get him, because I think the next 4 weeks, some of the matchups too, he gets Jacksonville, he gets San Francisco, he gets Tampa. Those are going to be some higher scoring games potentially. Good news for fantasy managers who are trying to get Jacoby Brissett.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Today's prop was 15, right? And he's at 44. If you altered him to 20 or 25 plus, those are some big numbers. Like 15 and a half, like Jack Besh this morning was 11 and a half, and his number got bet up to 15 and a half. Tyler Lockett was 16 and a half and bet down to 15 and a half. If you just took a shot, like 15 to 25 is nothing. And next week, his number's not going to be 15.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, yes, it's week 11 in the NFL. Oh, time does fly, but we are having fun. Take a look at some of these early lines here, early week, and some interesting matchups, and one that's going to take place on Sunday, Joe, 1 p.m., 4:55, 4:56 on the rotation. That's Tampa Bay and Buffalo. How about that? Tampa Bay last week, Joe, at home. What happened to them? Lost to the New England Patriots. The Buffalo Bills also were in the state of Florida last weekend, taking on the Miami Dolphins, a loss for them. Two teams looking to bounce back to try to stay in the race for division championships here. This line opened up at 6.5 as a favorite towards Buffalo. It's actually down to 5.5. Most people's first inclination, Joe, would be what? Look at this. Tampa Bay getting that many points. Buffalo looked terrible, and 6 out of every 10 tickets here coming in on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do you agree that this line is correct here? And what's your early look for a Tuesday when this game's on a Sunday?
Well, here's what you need to look at, Donnie, and you need to monitor it all week long. Because we're getting to that time of year where you better know what's happening in Orchard Park from a weather perspective here, because it could change immediately. It could be that wind coming off the lake, Donnie. It could be snow. It could be a whole lot of things. So keep an eye on the forecast for Orchard Park this time of year. But I mean, listen, the look-ahead line was as high as the Bills, 6.5, and you're seeing what's going on here now. That Buffalo loss was atrocious. You've got also in Tampa Bay, you've got a quarterback there that's calling out his team and saying we're not practicing right. So a lot of things going in the wrong direction for both these teams. But if I had to pick, I would say being at home, I would advantage Buffalo in this spot. That's how I would look at it.
Taking a look at the weather conditions here. And again, we're still a couple days out, of course. 16 plus mile an hour winds there with a chance of rain and drizzle in the forecast throughout that game. So, as always, the weather reports do change week to week. But Joe is right. That lake effect snow, that lake effect wind that blows off there, not until we get to that big tin can toaster oven that they built where we're going to be able to dine down those, windy conditions. That's not going to happen at this point right now. But certainly something to keep an eye on at that point. Seattle taking on Los Angeles, and that's the Rams here. I love this game. It's a 4 or 5 start, which is crazy. How is this game not 425 national at this point? Darnold taking on Stafford. Look at this price point. The Rams are at home, only 2.5-point favorites here, despite 75% of the tickets coming in on Seattle and a total of 48.5. Great game. This could go a long way to decide who wins the NFC West.
Yeah, and both teams are off division rivalry games here, and there's not a lot of travel involved for either. So to me, this is equal footing for both these teams here. The betting markets, Donnie, have actually loved the Rams this season. They've got a ton of love, but the Seahawks and their, the metrics behind them and all the analytics telling us that, this is a championship defense, and the offense is capable of beating anybody. I think this is going to be interesting here. The look ahead was 2.5. We're going to look at 2.5, Donnie, and I don't know that it gets to 3 one way or the other. In fact, I don't know. To me, I think the books are going to get equal money on both sides for this game.
Well, I got to tell you, I look at this game and I love the matchup because the Rams are really good and so is Seattle. But sometimes I look and say, well, I think the Rams are better than Seattle. But yet look at the respect that Seattle's getting for a road game, only getting 2.5 points as opposed to 3.5 or 4. I think that stands out a lot. But also understand this, when you're looking at Seattle, and I'm not questioning the way they're beating teams because they look really impressive. Darnold's been great. You made some great trades at the deadline. They're a fun team to watch. But also, where is that signature win I need here? Are you going to get it this weekend? Or is it, Rams by a touchdown? Yeah, Seattle's a nice story, but just not ready for those major games that you play out. Looking at this game, is this a game where this could be like Seattle's breakout party to say, no. We're not going to hang around. We actually think we're the best team in the NFC, and their record would prove that.
And they have been tremendous on the road, Donnie, under McDonald here. Over the last couple of seasons, they've been an ATM machine, not only winning, but covering games on the road. This feels bigger between these two teams. And it's not like the Rams have some sort of slouchy defense, too. This is a young group that showed their teeth last year and almost beat your Eagles, by the way, in the postseason. And now they're a little bit older, a little bit wiser, a little more experienced. This is going to feel like a playoff game, Donnie, and I think it's going to look a lot like a playoff game.
How about another playoff game here? Kansas City and Denver. Look at that side. Mahomes -3.5 as a favorite on the road against the Denver Broncos. This is one of those, and it's not like a last stand effort for Kansas City. If they lose, they're still going to be in the playoff picture. But they would be 500 at that point, and Denver will win this division, which makes that path to an AFC Championship or Super Bowl that much tougher to get to. Do you agree right now that Kansas City should be the favorite in this game over the Denver Broncos?
Yes, and I'll give you a comparison, Donnie. The Broncos, to me, are the Packers of the AFC. Elite defense, and the offense is all over the map. Can't figure out which one of them is going to show up when. And that's exactly what we saw last night with Green Bay. And I think you are absolutely going to get a similar performance here from the Broncos. It's advantage offense Chiefs, whose defense has also been pretty good. Can't trust the offense of the Broncos. I can trust what Mahomes and the Chiefs are doing. I think they should be the favorite in this one.
Let me ask you a question on this, too, because that line opened up at 3.5. I do see a 4 at Bet365. If we're looking optimistically, once we get down to kickoff on Sunday, barring any major injuries, is this a 3? Or is this going to stay above a 3 as a favorite towards Kansas City? Because that would be really telling to me, that's a Kansas City line.
Well, you saw it last week, Donnie, with the Broncos at Houston. Houston was getting all the money from the pros. Houston was the one that was supposed to win that game, even with a backup quarterback. So the pros are looking to fade the Broncos right now. And the Chiefs, they're going to get the public money. And I think this thing does not get back to 3 anytime soon. I think that's exactly where it stays.
Speaking about 3 here, how about the Chargers coming east to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars? Jaguars, they beat Houston easily. No, they didn't. Did you watch the fourth quarter? Up 19 points, got dropped on their head with 26 unanswered points scored, and away you go with the victory in one of the worst beats you had if you had the Jags at plus 1.5 points. This week, though, the Chargers on the road, they're favored. A lot of outlets, Joe, sitting at a 3-point favorite and a low total of 43.5. Jacksonville looking to bounce back. A great win for the Chargers, but I still get nervous with the Chargers with that offensive line. But boy, oh boy, the public can't get enough of the Chargers right now. Roughly 65% of the tickets coming in on those Chargers.
I don't. The Chargers as a road favorite all the way on the other side. I think this line is going to go back and forth, and it would not shock me, Donnie, if this is a little bit closer to maybe -1, maybe even a pick 'em by the time the game kicks off.
Yeah, take a look here at the conference winners for the AFC as we move forward. It's still astounding. We're talking about NBA-style handicapping right now in the NFL, which is something we don't see all that much. The Chiefs right now, if the season ended today, would not be in the playoffs, but yet they are favorites at plus 290 to win the AFC, and it's not like, plus 300, plus 310 right behind them. No, the Bills are a plus 450 behind them. The respect continues to build up for the Chiefs, and granted, if they go out and beat Denver, there's a pathway for them to win their division and get a home playoff game. I get that. If they lose to the Denver Broncos, they got to drop down to 5 or 6. I don't care, but they're heavy favorites right now to win the conference at 5-4.
It's kind of crazy, right? But I think this is the time of year, and we always say November and December is what makes legit contenders, Donnie. And if Kansas City is legit, they will do what they have been doing for a very, very long time here. Is they will drop this thing into another gear, and they will begin to separate themselves from everybody else.
Buffalo Bills plus 450. Big time game this week against the Buccaneers. They'll have them at home, but also the Kansas City Chiefs again going to take on the Denver Broncos on the road as a favorite. The top 2 teams in the odds market. Big games this weekend. A lot of fun to be had. Adam Kaufman's going to join us next. We'll look at some NBA action and much more next on the early line.
Notre Dame playing very well, in a position to crack the top 12. Now they have to take care of business.
Here's what I want from and again, we're going to go over who we think is actually going to make the playoffs here a little bit later in the show. But understand this, Joe. I don't want any ACC in there. I don't want any Big 12 in there. Just give me the Big 10 and the SEC. And Mike, quite frankly, if you just gave me Ohio State, Indiana, and the rest of the SEC, boom, boom.
Nah.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
It is a sickness in this league. They stink, and they should stink next year. That's it.
But the expectation is to be a 9-8 football team.
So let's shake it. Why is that the expectation? They're garbage. And traded away 2 of the few good guys they have.
But they're going to get how many draft picks in the first round? 3 next year?
2.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Brissett has been that good. So this is a quarterback that I think is worth acquiring, but especially in Superflex leagues. If somebody's already got QBs passed by and Brissett's just collecting dust on somebody's bench, go out there, get him, because I think the next 4 weeks, some of the matchups too, he gets Jacksonville, he gets San Francisco, he gets Tampa. Those are going to be some higher scoring games potentially. Good news for fantasy managers who are trying to get Jacoby Brissett.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Today's prop was 15, right? And he's at 44. If you altered him to 20 or 25 plus, those are some big numbers. Like 15.5. Like Jack Besh this morning was 11.5, and his number got bet up to 15.5. Tyler Lockett was 16.5 and bet down to 15.5. If you just took a shot, like 15 to 25 is nothing. And next week, his number's not going to be 15.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Rolling along in the early line right here on the Sports Grid Network at Tuesday morning armchair quarterback. What happened last night in that Philadelphia Eagles-Packers game? We went over that a lot. And also what to look for this weekend. Previewed a couple games that are going to be massive in the AFC and the NFC and the standings here as we go. Donnie writes out along with Joe Ranieri. Now we bring in Adam Kaufman to get some information on the association. And also, I'm going to sneak in some Patriots talk with the guy. How about that?
I'm going to need you guys to help me out with my Survivor play this week. It's nut cutting time, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I would love to tell you that I could sit here and use my Patriots and just coast on Thursday night and take the weekend off. But sadly, I used them a couple weeks back against the Titans, so my options are just a little bit thinner.
By the way, Adam, you still being in a league that long here and picking the correct team in this league where there was minefields all over the place, that is very good stuff here. But before we do get to the NBA here, the New England Patriots sit atop the AFC East at 8-2. The Buffalo Bills are 6-3. You talk about two big games in the state of Florida, and you're saying from a Patriots fan, oh, man, Bill's going to get that easy victory. Oh, we got a tough one. We're not even the favorites against Tampa Bay. What happens? The Patriots get that victory. The Buffalo Bills lose. It is legit that the Patriots could be the top seed in the AFC and, more importantly, knock off the Buffalo Bills for supremacy in the AFC East.
Well, so a couple things there. You mentioned me still being alive in Survivor. Sometimes it's just
Crazy.
dumb luck, guys, because with the Bills at the Dolphins this week, I would have sprinted, not walked to the window, sprinted to the window to use Buffalo in Miami. Thing was, I had already used the Bills, so the option was taken out of my hands, and thank goodness it was because of obviously what went down at South Beach. It has been a weird year for Buffalo, a weird year for football, certainly a strange year within that division. I'm not completely shocked that we're talking about a Patriots team that is as successful as it's been simply because of the schedule. I said going into the year, on paper, if this team gets the buy-in, the culture, all of that, Mike Vrabel, the play, and I don't mean MVP level, even though he's the odds-on favorite right now, and Ranieri's already bought his ticket from Drake May. If you get respectable play there, then you can just destroy a laundry list of bad teams that are in front of you, win 9-10 games, and be a wild card team. But this team has also been beating some good teams. There's an alternate universe, fellas, where the Patriots are undefeated this year. Think about it. They're 8-2. They gave away the Pittsburgh game. They lost by a touchdown while turning the ball over 5 times, including twice inside the 5-yard line in the red zone. That absolutely should have been a win. The only other loss was all the way back in week 1 against the Raiders when, clearly they just, weren't quite ready yet. So fine, 8-2, you're 2 games ahead of the Bills in the win column, and the schedule going forward really on the heels of upsetting the Bucs. I know it wasn't a massive upset, but they were underdogs. That was a game a lot of people said, okay, here's a litmus test. They may lose this game. They go out, they win that game. You only have 2 games in front of you now the whole rest of the way that on paper are difficult. The rematch with the Bills in Foxborough, and of course taking on the Ravens, with Baltimore just as we sit here now, healthy, motivated, trying to reclaim that division, at the very least get back into the playoff race. And, I think those are 2 very losable games for New England. And we'll see about Cincinnati, depending on how early Joe Burrow actually does return. But you got the Jets twice, the Giants, the Dolphins again. I mean, there's a scenario where week 18 at home against Miami is a rest your starters day because it doesn't mean anything. And you've already got not only the division wrapped up, but the top seed in the AFC. Depends on the Broncos, depends on the Colts, and if anyone catches fire, obviously. But yeah, it's a lot of people right now, day to day, including I'm sure yourselves, are trying to make sense of it. It's strange. The Patriots are, certainly, they're playing well. They're also beneficiaries of their schedule, but we're at a point, people have been resistant, but we're at a point now as we sit here in mid-November where you have to take the Patriots seriously as contenders.
Talk to me tonight about your Celtics there taking on the Sixers. And for the first time all year, I mean, Paul George is now working his way back here, and they expect to see him at some point this week. Embiid's available for this game here tonight. First game of the year, I think we saw this one. The Sixers lost. But what are we going to get here tonight? Sixers are at home. 2.5 is what we're seeing.
So I don't come off as a complete and total homer. I do think the Sixers win this game, although I think it's going to be close. You know, these teams have played each other twice so far. Philadelphia rallied from down 13 in the fourth quarter to steal a 1-point win opening night, and then these teams matched up again in their first NBA Cup game, and Boston got even this time in Philly and won that game by 1. So we've seen 2 1-point games in these two matchups. These teams are coming in. Celtics as healthy as they can be, obviously absent Jason Tatum, who is nowhere close to available. And then on the Sixers side, Jared McCain is expected to play, so that is significant. This team is heading in the right direction when it comes to its personnel. Like you said, no Paul George. Joel Embiid, his minutes are ramping up, and he should, even if he's out there for, let's say, 25, 26 minutes, he should have his way with Nimi Keita and that G League caliber front court that the Celtics are rolling out there. Whether it's putting up 20-plus points, whether it's, pulling down 8 to 10 rebounds, we'll see. But, Philadelphia ultimately is just the stronger team right now. Both teams have been pretty inconsistent, the Celtics especially, but both teams have been pretty inconsistent. I just think the C's, one, they're not shooting well, especially from the perimeter. The three-point shooting has been atrocious this year, and that's not just across the board. It's in particular from your quality three-point shooters, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, guys like that. And then, for Philadelphia, the C's through a couple of games have had no answer for Tyrese Maxey, not that the league has so far. He's been unbelievable. And VJ Edgecombe, who's looking like the rookie of the year already. Celts have not been able to shut him down. So I do think we're going to get another close game, but especially with this game being in the city of brotherly love there, Donnie, I think Philadelphia wins this one.
Yeah, some other games to take a look at, too. Golden State Warriors and the Oklahoma City Thunder. We'll do this one quickly. 7.5-point dog here for Golden State, but Steph Curry expected to be back in the lineup tonight, Adam.
Yeah, and look, the Warriors, I would take it plus 7.5.
Yeah.
These two teams, when you just consider covering, like the Thunder, they're 4-0 at home. They're 10-1 overall. Thing is, they're 6-5 against the spread this year. They don't cover big spreads. And the Warriors, they're 6-5 against the spread as well. And oh, by the way, 1-5 on the road. So they're going to need more than just the questionable Al Horford in this situation.
He's Adam Kaufman, and we love him here on the Sports Grid Network. Thanks, Adam, for rising and grinding with us.
We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly, Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF now.
Is that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF now.
So he's got an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72-0.
Keep that dude away from polite society.
Okay, brother, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Numerous Pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're just talking some NBA action there with Adam Kaufman. And one of those games was Steph Curry, who looks like he's coming back from illness to play in that game tonight against the Thunder in a 7.5-point spread. You know, sometimes you're not feeling all that good, but something can brighten your day, like one of your teammates pulling some shenanigans with his hair. How about this video with Steph Curry?
Too light-skinned. Look at the hair.
Be ready, man. September 29th. This what they do for you.
You better be glad there ain't no humidity out here.
What's up, champ?
How you doing? I ain't gonna lie, I'm in the corner. I'm like, that ain't him. What's wrong with you, dog? Man.
Jimmy Butler, known to change hairstyles there, coming up with another unique one. He needs to wear that on the court and put a headband around it. How about that? Get out there, 70s style.
If he starts going out there and doing the James Brown dance, that's just, he's going to floor people, man. Absolutely hilarious. He did this in Miami all the time, too, by the way.
Yep.
And they loved him here in Miami for it. So good stuff there.
Used to have him with those headshots there at that point right now. But this comes the part of the show, Joe, where, we like to laugh out here, but we want to hear from you, the people. Here's our Fade the Public poll. All right, who are you betting was the question. And say, where did I get this question? I go to @SportsGrid. We ask questions Monday through Friday, so you can vote on these. And I'm going to hit the retweet button right now at this point because I just voted. And it's no surprise who I voted for, Joe. Who are you betting to win the NFC this year? Eagles, Rams, Lions, Seahawks. Guess who I went with? Yep, the Philadelphia Eagles at plus 330. Joe, who'd you go with?
Yeah, it's shocker, Donnie, that you would go there. But I think it's going to ultimately come down to the Rams and the Eagles. So I'm kind of agreeing with the public here. I think that's way more consistent. And boy, I got to tell you, if Philadelphia doesn't get home field advantage throughout, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes.
And again, huge games this weekend. Eagles and the Lions will play. Rams and the Seahawks will play. A lot of these odds will be changing up by the time we start week 12 for NFL action. I'm excited for this weekend. Should be fun. The Eagles and the Eagles and the Lions play Sunday Night Football. The Rams and the Seahawks in the late window at 4 o'clock here. A lot of things to be determined this weekend and great to look forward to. But you know what else you look forward to? Bets that win, people. Perfect 2-0 last night. Here's our bye bet. The floor is yours, Joe Ranieri. Got college basketball, NBA basketball. You got Maction tonight. You got a lot of stuff. You got the NBA and the NHL. Where are you going tonight for some dubs?
Donnie, I am going to go back to Maction football here tonight, and I am going to be looking at Western Michigan at home, taking on the Ohio Bobcats, who had absolutely no business beating Miami of Ohio last week, which, of course, I gave out here on the show, Donnie. And they somehow managed to blow that lead late in that game. But you're talking about a Western Michigan team going to be very emotional, too, by the way. Marshawn Nealand, the former Cowboy player who just passed, that was his alma mater there. So they have not played football since the 1st of November. So they are rested. They are ready to go. And again, we saw the Ohio Bobcats that just played a week ago on Tuesday. They're good defensively, not great. They're steady offensively, but this is an elite defense, especially in the MAC here of Western Kentucky. And I think when push comes to shove, temperatures in the low 30s, upper 20s, you're going to be dealing with some wind. It is going to be freezing. I'm going to go with the elite defense at home, who's more rested. And it will be an emotional night there for them. And I'm going to back them here at this small number, plus 1.5. I got Western Michigan to get it done.
The originators of rowing the boat, Western Michigan. We'll see how that turns out tonight, and we can get another winner. I'm going to head to Madison Square Garden, the most famous arena in the world. Look at that. The Knicks are unbeaten at home. No way they can lose. Well, they might not be able to lose this game, but I'm going to take the Memphis Grizzlies getting 9.5 points tonight. Why? The New York Knicks currently getting 78% of the ticket count. That line hovering between 9.5 and 10s. We're taking the Grizzlies in a public fade tonight and a 2-0 chance between college football and the NBA, Joe. How does that sound tonight for you?
Let's see. If it ain't broke, let's not fix it, Donnie. Let's roll it. Make it a 4-0, 48 hours.
That's the way we do it, people. So much action, so much fun for Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri in the Sports Grid Network. This was the Early Line. See you bright and early tomorrow morning.